welcome. Bobby was
On,
probably one of my earliest guests at the Teashop. Bobby, and if you missed the file, we won't get into all the normal things that we talked about. But Bobby and I were classmates. We were up to Loyola, and then he moved to Australia, and he went to the Grammys, and he had a phenomenal journey. So we'll pick up Bobby's story from 2025 and skip the early years. But yeah, Bobby, quick introduction. Skip through 40 years and give us the quick summary.
My God, let's try it. All right, here goes. Let's try this.
Let's go.
All right, so born and brought up in Chennai, of course, all my schooling and university there, which is where Conrad and myself kind of first met and had a friendship kind of kick things off. Finished university, communication degree, joined a band, Mocha, started that off and went on that adventure. And then while I was doing that, also started working in the kind of audio music production kind of space as a recording engineer, dabbling in production, but mostly sticking to engineering, mixing and recording, for advertising, for the film industry, for kind of music projects, all sorts of things, all the way from, the film industry to, independent artists. Involved in all of that, decided for some strange reason to leave all of that in 2001 and move to Australia and Melbourne. And, the grass is always greener on the western side.
Yeah.
They say, right? Kind of went there and, realized very quickly that Australia really didn't have a television or a movie or a film industry quite on the scale of India. I mean, which country does? And then realized I had to kind of dip back into marketing, which was what I studied. I never ever thought I was going to have to do for a living what I studied in university. But there we go. And then, kind of did that over the past, I'd say 25 years, predominantly various levels of corporate marketing all the way to kind of a CMO level, with some very, very big kind of global companies and, very senior marketing leadership positions. Enjoyed it very, very much, very challenging and kind of, but all at the same time kept kind of doing music on the side as well. And while not in very dramatic fashion, but kind of just staying in the loop, still kind of keeping that presence in the industry as being, a music guy, I suppose. Covers, mixing, mastering, but in a very low-key way, I suppose, compared to how I was before. And then I think I hit a point where, marketing is fantastic and corporate marketing is good and it pays well and you buy nice things. And then you hit a point where you go, I really don't think this is what I want to be doing anymore, which scares the crap out of yourself, but scares the crap out of your family even more because they're going, oh, what is this crazy man talking about? We're just starting to get comfortable in our elderly times. And now he's going, with this kind of, I'm off on a new adventure. But kind of did that. And I think about 4 or 5 years ago, 2024, started going, I think I'm going to get back into it and, started getting involved in the recording academy, started getting involved, kind of taking my music a bit more seriously, presenting myself a little bit more as a, that music guy as opposed to that marketing guy. And, I became a voting member of the Recording Academy in 2024, which is a very, very surreal kind of thing to be part of. And I'm sure we'll get into a bit more of that very seriously. Then in 2025, decided, what? Let's go back to India. Just, why not, right? Did that, started Mocha 360 with my old friend and keyboard player of Mocha, Richard Dudley, who's also now a kind of renowned corporate guy, done kind of in the same position as me, decided to have enough of corporate. And I've been running Mocha 360, which works in the pillars of, artist management, live event IPs, technology, industry technology. I'm fully immersed in that, switch between Melbourne and Bangalore. And here we are. Whew, that was a recap and half.
Well done. Before we begin, right, I know we're going to talk about all the awesome things Bobby's doing, success and all that stuff. And it's nice to talk about these things, but I just want to remember that from our first episode, we talked about the struggles. You were down and out. You did not know what to do. You were like broke, and there was a chance encounter that kind of was a first stepping stone into where you are. So it hasn't always been roses. People weren't throwing roses at his feet to walk into his successful path where he is. There's been struggle. So, and I think that's what I'd love to talk about. I'd love to talk entrepreneurship. And I think if you've been following Bobby long enough, or if you haven't followed him, I kind of always looked at him, and recently at least, the way he brands himself on LinkedIn. I kind of cannot get away from Bobby, and I'm joking. but I see him on LinkedIn, right? He's branding himself, and he brands his voice and presents himself well. I think so. That's also, if you're ever thinking about how do I get successful, it's not about just doing great stuff. It's about how do you tell people you're doing great stuff as well, right? So Bobby, tell us about Moksha 360.
Man, it was crazy. Like, I've always wanted to really kind of go full time into the music industry and kind of, get back into it because I mean, we came from that world, but being full time in the music industry. And it's an amazing, kind of industry to be in once you get past that initial hump of crawling over broken glass, I call it. The crawling over broken glass stage that, unless with the very few exceptions, everyone who joins the industry is going to have to go through, right? Because there's a lot of competition. Everyone has the same aspirations. People are trying to figure out on their own. Some people have a little bit of advantage with the network, but kind of really trying to find how do I make money and make a living from this thing that I really enjoy doing, but I really want to not go back and sit there in an office. Either people have been in an office in a 9 to 5 role and have gone, I never want to go back to that again. So there is no plan B. I'm going to make this work. Or they go, I don't really know how to do any of those things that I would be required to have to do to function in a non-music industry thing in an office. I don't actually have any other skills, right? So I wouldn't know what job to get. So there's two different kinds of people who are kind of in the music industry trying to make it, right? So for me, it was more about, okay, I've done this thing, I've done the music industry, I know how different parts of the music industry work, right? Just from age and years and experience, I go, okay, there's all the creative side of things, and then there's the music business.
Yep.
I mean, there's the reason it's called the music business.
Yep.
Right? The business of the music industry and understanding how those components work together, right? And I think the timing was great because trying to do anything by yourself is always going to be very overwhelming and kind of very stressful from a bandwidth perspective, from a financial perspective, networking, and it's always going to be crazy. So for some reason, I happened to be having a conversation with Richard Dudley. This was in 2024, and we were like, "What's going on?" That we'd kind of done some stuff together in the year leading into that. So it wasn't like a cold.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to speak to you after 25 years. It wasn't like that. It was like he had his Mocha Academy, his, all of that music school and everything else that he was doing very successfully, as well as a very successful corporate career. In fact, he was listed as one of India's top 10 CEOs in 2024. So that's, nothing to do with music, technology and all other things. So what's happening? He was like, I happened to have a conversation going, I'm kind of done. I'm leaving this job. And I really want to do something now that we have this knowledge. See, it's the excitement of wanting to do music is one thing. Having 25 years of like hardcore corporate experience and understanding processes and understanding networks and understanding business process, that's a completely now a different set of skill sets. So I think for me it was, well, now I have this. So surely I have a better shot at building a music industry business than it would have been 10 years ago, right? I was saying, I really want to do this. What do you think? What are you doing? And he's like, funny you should mention that. And I was like, he just exited a massive multi-crore business that he'd founded. And, I think he thought he was going to retire and, sit there. And I think he spent like 2 or 3 months playing golf and something. And then I think he went, can't do this. I have to keep building something. So I'm going to go and play. So it was perfect timing. And we went, let's do something together. What do we do? But okay, at the same time, let's be pragmatic about it and approach it with all our years now of business building knowledge and, proper kind of process. And we said, okay, we really want to do something in the music industry. We want to support, but it's also got to be viable as a business. It's got to function. It's got to feed us. It's got to pay our bills. We're both far into, well beyond, middle-aged. So you have to also go, let's not, be practical about this.
Yeah.
So we kind of broke Moksha 360 and said, what are the pillars that we understand, that we can work in, and we can build? So we broke it down into, okay, artist management is something he already did and still does. So there's that pillar that I have experience with. So let's definitely put that in the box. Then we said live events is definitely something in India that is really, really, if done well and you build a good reputation, is always going to be a really, really good pillar to work in. Let's take that on as well. Then let's look at, technology, which is, that's the most scalable thing.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because with the live events and with the artist management, you can't scale those things. It's like you
Yeah.
can do them, but there's a limit. There's a bandwidth limit. Like, you can still only do X number of artists if it involves your actual time, right? So you can't go beyond that. Even with live events, can't, unless you have global teams, you can't go beyond a certain amount. Technology, on the other hand, is something that you can scale, right? So we said, okay, let's put all these things. Let's, excitedly, what's the name and blah, 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 Moksha, because why not? Right?
Exactly. It's a
But
known brand already, right?
it's a known brand.
Yeah.
It's something that is connected very personally to both of us, me for a slightly longer period of time and him more recently, because he still called his music school Moksha Academy. So it's that was a no-brainer. But let's call it Moksha 360, to kind of give the indication that it's a slightly more expansive suite of services than just live music and events. So did all that, and then that's kind of it. So we said, what's the good way to kick it off? We started having conversations, and you know how you get excited about starting a business, and you start getting all the plans together and all the documents, and here's the strategy planning documents. But I think we spent quite a bit of time doing that, 2 months, and then we went, okay, what should we do? We need to do something with a bit of a bang, right, to announce to the country and the world that we're launching this new thing, and we're going to do it properly. Because what's the story? Like, if we go to the press and say we're starting a new music industry business, we're like, the 4 guys down the street started one last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the one thing that is going to be undeniably so exclusive and big from an industry perspective that people are going to go, huh, what? And we were like, let's go to the Grammy Awards. I think that's like, why, let's not worry about some local Indian music award thing. Let's like, if you're going to do something, let's do something absolutely outrageous.
Yeah.
And I was a voting member already, a Grammy voting member, which for people who don't understand how that works is, I vote on who gets nominated and who wins Grammys. So if your favorite artist didn't get nominated or didn't win this year or the previous year, you have one person you can blame. I mean, that being said, it's not, 10 people in a room. The voting body of Grammys is like 12,000 or 13,000 people
Across
all
the
over
globe. Yeah.
It's a proper democracy, right? For the most part. So as a voting member, you are entitled to attend the Grammys, and you can take, you can have one more person with you. So I didn't take my wife to the Grammys. I took Richard, and we both headed off to LA to the Grammy Awards in 2025. Like, holy crap, this is absolutely fantastic. And, all the red carpet and the thing and the parties, and like, oh my God, that's very overwhelming. But kind of that's what it did, was it kind of gave us a little bit of a lift from a PR perspective. Because now from a news perspective, it wasn't, here's 2 guys who are experienced music industry professionals who are now starting this business. It was like, here's these 2 guys, and they launched it at the Grammy Awards. So like, suddenly everyone's like, oh, what now?
Yeah.
But they did what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, because it's quite an unachievable, exclusive event. It's not a public event. You can't just buy tickets and attend, even if you're, it's kind of, I mean, I suppose you can if you kind of, know people and the right people. But for the most part, you have to actually be a Recording Academy member. So we use that as a kind of a jump off point to get some kind of a story for the business, and we went there and met people, and amazing, of course. And, we can talk about the Grammys as a separate thing, but from a Moksha 360 perspective, it was like, and that's, so then officially we started the business in April 2025 and just had our like 1-year anniversary. And it's incredible. It's like an amazing ride, so I spend, a few months in India, and then I go back to Melbourne and I spend a couple of months there, and, let my wife see me so she doesn't forget how I look, and my cats. And then I come back Bangalore, and it's just been, I've seen like more airports and airport lounges. I have a favorite chair in the lounge. It's like, it's, when you have a favorite part of the lounge that you want to go and chill out in, it's like, then like, okay, I think you've hit a certain point in your travels. But that's the story of Moksha 360. And we've kind of launched, after all of that, we've kind of, launched something brand new. Our tech venture was, let's launch our own ticketing platform. Why not? Right? We've got hands and everything else. Right? So initially, those pillars that I spoke about with the plan, we did all of that, and then we decided to do 2 more things because we're insane, right? Let's build our own live venue. Why not? In Bangalore, in the middle of Jai Mahal, beautiful state-of-the-art 14-foot LED wall, state-of-the-art consoles and PA, 150 capacity venue. Let's do that. Why not? did that. Let's build a ticketing system. Why are we giving money to, ticketing platforms? So we're doing a lot of events. So we're like, hang on, what's the percentage they're keeping again?
Yeah.
They're like, holy crap, how much are we paying these guys? Like, let's build our own platform.
Who are the big guys in India for ticketing? Is it like Ticketmaster in India as well, or is there?
They have equivalents, right? So there's other companies that have well established themselves. So it's not like we're going up against some big boy, right? I'm talking about like there's companies there that are also bringing down international artists who also have the, so we're going up against some very well established companies. So in September, October last year, we were like, let's do this, right? And we loaded it with features that no other ticketing platform in the world has, like group bookings and loyalty points and affiliate marketing and, all sorts of crazy things. And so we kind of, in December last year, we launched it in a way that we were going to use it for our own events first. So like, okay, we'll be very bullish about this because, we're going up against people who are massive, and we're going up against people who we know, who own these other systems. Like, we know them. Right? I mean, business is business, but we were like, so if we put something out and make a big song and dance about it and get the best ticketing system on the planet is now here, the firing squad is going to be ready, like waiting there to like, really, you have the best, let's see. So we had to really run it on our own events for a few months before we had the guts to go, you know what, let's start looking at getting clients on now. So like June, this month, I was going to say next month, I realized it was the 1st of June where I am already, I'm on the future content. We're launching Tickem 360, which is the brand new state-of-the-art event ticketing platform for India. And that's the story of Mocha 360 thus far.
Yeah, that's killer, man. That's killer. Yeah, because ticketing, I don't know about the rest of the world, but in the US at least, ticketing, there is no ticketing platform that has a good standing in the public's eyes. They all like have like car salesmen, again, in the US, they don't look down because they steal, they price gouge and all that stuff. And the ticket prices is ridiculously expensive because of all the extra fees.
That's right. And so one of the things we did was we said, see, again, we're coming at it from, everyone was like, oh, you're in the music industry, you're going over to the dark side, you're abandoning your artistic self to go into the, and we're like, no, we are artists. We not have been artists. Even if we had been artists. Don't you want people who have empathy to the artistic side of the industry to actually be on the other side with creating businesses that then, the whole mandate of Mocha 360 was to uplift and create platforms that support the independent music industry. Because that's us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So basically we built a whole set of platforms that we could also use. It's like, and even we have a resale function built into the ticketing platform. So you can resell your tickets. So but we call it ethical reselling. Right? So if you bought tickets on the platform, they're not transferable. They're not printed tickets. You can't go and give it to your cousin and go, go. You have to, it's in your name. And some venues have, like, you have to ID yourself before you can go in, right? So we said, okay, but life happens. You might not be able to attend an event. You can list your tickets within the platform for resale, but you can't list them for more than what you paid for them. And we don't have things like dynamic pricing. Set the rate for your event. This is the rate. And that's it. Once that tier is set, it is set that way. The system locks it in place. You and the event holder can't go in and change it. Platform doesn't change it automatically. The event holders can't change it. So you know what I mean? So it's like, we want to, it's like see no, you do no evil, right? Like, we don't want to kind of be those guys. We want to make money on it. Of course, it's a business.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's more than enough business to attract to make the money in an ethical way that has empathy to the creative part of the industry. So for us, that's really important with everything we do. It's like,
especially the resale, because there are people who, that's why they have limits on booking even, right? Some dude buys up like 100 tickets and then sells it for double the price.
Yeah, especially if it's a big artist.
Insane.
Swift had that problem.
Yeah.
A lot of artists were having problem. And the problem was that a lot of the big popular venues, see these big artists who do like stadium venues, right? A lot of those venues are kind of locked into the big players.
It's a mafia for sure.
Yeah, if you're going to play it at X venue, they are only going to use X ticketing platform.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, Live Nation. There was all that Live Nation Ticketmaster issue that was happening, was, monopoly.
Yeah.
With those, Live Nation, the moment would only use Ticketmaster, and suddenly now you don't have a choice. You can only buy tickets from Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
And people could go and were selling tickets for like Taylor Swift Eras tour was just...
Yeah.
a perfect example of how it went completely out of control. Like, I was looking at going to the Eras Tour in Melbourne, and someone said, "Yeah, here I can get you 2 tickets or 1 ticket." It was like I had to go by myself. Like $2,500 for a ticket that would have originally been $600. I like Taylor Swift, but I don't know if I like Taylor Swift. $2,500.
Yeah. Yeah.
As much.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. So I think, we started with great intentions. We still have great intentions. And I really hope that, we continue follow that initial kind of compass that we created this business for, and, not kind of be swayed by.
So Moksha 360, right? If I remember, so you kind of help the musician who's starting up to kind of get a plan. Okay, to be a successful musician, this is what you need to do. These are all the things. Obviously, present yourself, but understand the ticketing as well. But also, you're kind of like setting them up to, in your eyes, like, and I love this. If right, everybody could be a Grammy winner who walks into those doors. And what's that path, right? To I mean, winning a Grammy is nice, but you're still a great musician if you don't. But it's a nice feather in your hat, right? But that's the path that you're kind of telling them that it's possible. Now it is possible, right? For anybody, it's accessible, right?
Yeah. See, look, I've always had educator mindset. That's something that I think is important to have, right? Educator mindset means you don't believe in the concept of secret sauce. I have gained this knowledge and I shall use it for myself. And you know what I mean? I don't believe in that. Which is why I lectured in university and, did all those things and gave away, a whole bunch of marketing technology and everything I learned. So I believe that, first of all, and Richard is the same. We kind of both, agree on this, is the whole purpose of you crawling over broken glass and taking years and years to acquire the depth of knowledge and experience that you have is so you can accelerate that learning curve for the next generation, right? It's a very boomer mentality to go, no, I suffered and things, so you need to suffer as well, or you're not going to appreciate it. Like, that's BS, man. It's like, no. Like, yes, of course, people should understand the value of work and knowledge and, but that's not how it should work. The whole point of each generation is to make it easier for the next one, right? So I've always had that mindset. Richard has always had that mindset. And I've gotten a lot of trouble for it because, like, people are like, why are you telling people all this information? It's like, you took so long to. It's like, what am I going to do? Like, get all the business in the country for myself? It's like, I couldn't even handle it if I got all the business from a single suburb, So what's the point? And I'm confident in my abilities that I'm going to get business, right? So I think from a mentorship and a teaching and a voice and an artist management perspective, that's always something that's been important to me. So we've done mentorships. I've had personal mentorship things, and I was actually brought on by the Recording Academy as an official Grammy mentor because I put my hand up. Like, it's not because I'm the greatest mentor in the world. I'm sure, like, the people who are far more knowledge than I have. But the Recording Academy put this thing out saying, hey, if you've got expertise in this area of the music industry, we'd love to have you as an official mentor, right? And then you tell us what are the things you have expertise in. We'll ask people who'd like to be mentees, what are the things they'd like to learn? And we'll kind of match you guys up, right? So I was like, yeah, I'm in. Lock me in. And I was the only kind of mentor at the time from both Australia and India that they signed, right? Now, it could be because no one else bothered to put their hand up.
Yeah.
I'd like to think my credentials had something to do with the selection process.
Sure, part of it, yeah.
And so it was amazing, and I loved it. We kind of mentored. They connected me with, an artist, singer-songwriter from the UK. Came on mentoring, and I think she came on thinking, we'll have a couple of Zoom calls and he'll, give me some great advice and everything's going to be. And I was like, okay, here's what we're going to do for this 6-fortnight mentorship. Every fortnight we're going to have together, and here's the syllabus. Fortnight 1, we're going to cover mindset and something, and something. And then fortnight 2, we're going to cover the business of the music. Like, I had this whole syllabus drafted out, and she must be like, holy shit, what the hell? But I mean, she must have been like, I'm hoping she went, oh wow, this is like fantastic, and I'm gonna get into. And she did. She kind of got into it, and 6 fortnights of mentorship and training, and then
Does the Grammy have anything to do with this, or they just let you design your own?
This is an official Grammy. No, this is a Recording Academy program.
Okay.
And so I will Grammy U Mentor, like an official Grammy mentor.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
So this is
no. I mean, like, can you make up your own? Program?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
In fact, I probably, because I know other people who were mentors in the US and things, they were just like, I think the people just came in there like a couple of studio sessions and hung around and probably got the kid to make them coffee and clean the mics and the cables. And while they were there, and kind of off you go, you've had your
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
internship now. But
yeah.
I was like, no, I'm gonna, this is my thing. And then we made a little thing, and and then the good thing that came out of that was, I'm glad the person got a lot of value from the experience, 100%. But what also happened was the Recording Academy then featured me exclusively on all their channels. And I was the only mentor amongst everyone who got featured by the Recording Academy. So in fact, if you go to my Instagram and you look at the middle post that's pinned, there's actually a video that's posted by the Recording Academy that they collaborated with me that basically explains what this course was. Like, and how, not course, I keep calling it a course. The mentorship kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
program was. So for bringing that into Moksha 360 was an easy thing. And for us, it's like, okay, who are you? Like, what are you, as an artist, what are your aspirations? What do you want to do? And we help them, define that, because a lot of times when you ask artists, so what's your plan? What's your goal? What do you want to be? I want to become big and thing, and I want to be famous, and I want to kind of be able to make a career out of this. And yes, everyone wants that with every industry in their life. Let's put structure into this. Let's treat it like a business project, right? Let's look at your big goals. What are you planning to do? Overall, what is your ambition for your career, right? Okay. And try and help them define it. And suddenly it becomes very difficult because they go like, oh, I have to like now make it a real tangible thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we go,
Yeah.
okay, now if that's the thing you want to reach, let's reverse engineer that. Okay, so now let's put actual goals in. Like, okay, 24 months from now, list down 6 or 7 things that you have had to have done or achieved. Like, actually put a list of them down, right? It could be, I want to have 1 million followers on social media. I want to have released a full album. I want to have, played at least, be able to play and sell tickets in a venue that has 500 people. Like, and we help them articulate that sometimes. I want to play on stage in front of lots of people. Yeah, okay. I want to play on stage in a venue that holds 500,000. Let's actually put numbers and metrics around it, right? This is the Richard and myself kind of corporate project
Yeah.
management side
Yeah.
of our brains. It's like, let's put goals. Now, let's engineer that. What are the things that have to be done over the next 24 months for you to hit these goals? What are the sub goals?
Yeah.
So in the 6 months from now, what are the things you've had to have hit? In 12 months from now, what are the things you've had to hit? In 18 months, and so on and so forth. And now suddenly it starts to seem achievable. It actually is the opposite. People think, oh, that's going to be so much complex and it's actually going to make things hard. I'm just going to wing it and I'm just going to play wherever I get a chance and that's going to make me successful. Like, that's a terrible strategy. Because I have a word for artists and musicians and singers, we are stage sluts. We will get on a stage, any stage that is offered to us, with no care for the strategic aspect of it, the commercial aspect of it. What am I being paid? How am I leveraging this? No. Get on the stage and sing 2 songs. Yes. Give it a vibe. Right? I'm not saying you are. I'm saying like us musicians.
It's like that meme, right? Like a musician will lug like $3,000 worth of gear in a $10,000 car and get paid $500 or even at that.
What things are you playing?
Or maybe for a beer, even, right?
$50, $100, $200.
$50. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, but that's the thing, right? So we're like, no. So now you have a plan. Now you kind of expand on that a bit more. Okay, you want to reach 1 million followers. Done. How much money do you have to spend? Right? I'll be like, I want to reach 1 million followers in like 12 months. Like, cool. We got to spare 20 grand lying around. Done. No. Well, then let's just say 100,000 people who actually like you and genuinely want to be a part of your world in 12 months from now. Let's, and they go, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, you want 10 million followers in 12 months? 100% we can make it happen and we can give you habit. Do you have a solid trust fund sitting handy? Yeah. Does your parents' name, is your last name end with, Hilton or Gates or Musk? 100%. We are your guys. And, introduce us to your parents as well while you're at it. But, so people start to also then, not only, the objective is not just to create a plan and give them structure and then guide them through the execution of the plan and keep them accountable. It also grounds them in the reality of how long it can take if you're hustling.
Yeah.
Right? Because yes, if you have the advantage of having an entertainment industry family, even they've got to, the door might get them, Dave Grohl's kid or, Michael Jackson's kid or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah, it might be easy to walk in through the door. It's
Yeah.
not going to be 100%.
Yeah.
Let's not kid
Absolutely.
ourselves, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure Paris Jackson has no trouble walking into some of the
Yeah.
biggest rooms in the world. But what's going to actually keep you there and get you moving and being able to use the what you've gained access to that room, the people in the room, the ecosystem that's in that room, to be able to use that to do what you want to do, you still have to know what you're doing or be willing to work for it, right? It doesn't matter whose kid you are or whatever it is,
Yeah.
or whose uncle or who's,
A
you know,
good
whatever. It doesn't
example,
matter.
I think, is Mammoth. You know,
Mammoth, yeah. But
yeah, a
that
good,
guy,
great
that kid
example. Yeah.
worked insanely hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's super talented. He's a
Yeah.
multi-instrumentalist,
Yeah.
you know, and yeah, of course, man. You know, if your surname is Van Halen,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
100%. But in fact, it's even worse, I would say, for that guy. Because people are always going to go, it's not quite as good as his dad, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
imagine? It's like your
Yeah.
dad is Eddie Van Halen. It's
Yeah.
like, and you're
Yeah.
playing guitar? That's
Yeah.
that's the instrument you've chosen. Of
Yeah.
all the instruments you could have
Yeah.
chosen.
Yeah.
You're like, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one you're going to pick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's insane, right?
Yeah.
But that's the whole way. That's how our model of kind of artist management works, which I think is a damn good blueprint.
So does everyone have a different goal when they or I know it's difficult to say, like, here's your path to the Grammy, but maybe Grammy is a concept for the quality of the musicianship as opposed to a trophy in your hand. Like, you can get to this type of a musician, all right, but trophy may not happen, but the quality of your musicianship and your reach will definitely expand. That's how do you present it?
Well, see, I actually do a workshop called Pathway to the Grammys. I just did one in Melbourne before I came to
Yeah.
Bangalore. It was sold out. Amazing, right? And I started by saying, don't make music because you want to win a Grammy. And everyone goes, huh? Isn't the workshop called Pathway to the Grammys?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, yes, make music because you genuinely have something to say, right? And you really want to make something super cool that's kind of lives outside you and lives long after you, right? And it's an expression of something you're going through or just a creative expression. It's art. Yes, once you do that, then I can tell you what the pathway is that gives you the best possible shot at being in that room and walking up on stage, right? It's not a formula. If it was a proven formula, I'd have 10. Right? No, it's not. I know how it works. I know how the ecosystem works. I know how the system works. And that's why sometimes you hear stuff and go, that song got nominated? It's like, holy crap, that is like the worst thing I've heard in the last months. Yeah, but it got nominated. You know why? Because they know how the system works, right? And I wish it could be as simple as saying, make great art and the awards will come.
Yeah.
And people, no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Amazing songs and music are being recorded in bedrooms and little garages every day that no one will ever hear except for maybe the person's family and a few friends, right? And sometimes people are happy with that. Someone maybe they're happy. It's my kind of little hobby. I like it. My friends like it. I get to sing at my local little functions. Fabulous. I tick that kind of itch. But, if you are trying to kind of get that global recognition, and the Grammys are still that special thing that every artist wants. I remember, I think the first time I watched the Grammys was that Grammy Awards, that 1983 Grammys.
Yeah.
Right? On
Yeah.
Doordarshan. And it was like Michael Jackson standing next to Quincy Jones, like this, with like 8 Grammys. And like, who is this guy? And that is just a phenomenal thing. So that was my first introduction to both the Grammy Awards and Michael Jackson, like of all things, in one. So to me, those two things are quite emotionally connected. Michael Jackson and the Grammys are almost like, at the time, and till now, even now, it's like they go together, kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was like, that is amazing. That's like, and again, over the years, you go, you watch it on TV, you watch it on YouTube, you go, oh, that's just phenomenal. I want someone goes, you should be a Grammy voting member. Like, huh? What the hell is that? What's a Grammy voting member? I was like, those are people who, who are in certain tiers of their career and certain aspects of the industry are eligible to become voting members. And there's a body of people who blah, 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 and they vote for the Grammys. And like, wow, that's how it works. And like, yeah. And this guy was a voting member and he's like, I'll nominate you. because you have to be recommended
Yeah.
and nominated by 2 other voting members to become a voting member, right? And even then, it's not a guarantee. You just get a thing that says
Sure.
2 of your
Sure.
peers
Yeah.
have, recommended that you thought that you'd be a great addition to our voting body. Tell us why you think. And it's like applying for a job. It's like you have to go, here's my thing, and here's my bio, and here's
Yeah.
all my
Yeah.
links and my press, and here's my social media, and here's why, and in 500 words, I think I'd be a great voting member, and da 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 da. You do all this and hit the submit button. You get a very polite little email going, thank you very much for your submission. We will be in touch. And then nothing. You don't hear like, 2 or 3 months, nothing. It's just gone into the ether. This happens like in the Feb kind of thing. And then June, like I woke up in the email, like, congratulations, you've been inducted into the Recording Academy as what? Immediately the rest of the day, there's a whole flurry of like communications that have come through, and they have the best comms team
Yeah.
I've
Sure.
ever seen. Here's the thing, and here's your rights, and here's what's expected, and here's the do's, and here's the don'ts, and here's all these cool little things. Next week there's a meet and greet and a workshop with Green Day. 50 people only in New York. Really? So all of these things happen. Like in the Grammys, so I tell artists as well, yes, the Grammys is a very aspirational thing. When I break down the pathway to the Grammys, I'm not taking away the magic. I'm just telling you that it's possible for you. It's not this mythical thing that, you have to be doing stadium concerts and, you have to be the Taylor Swift and the Bruno Mars and the Dua Lipa and the Sabrina Carpenter. And you have to be that kind of artist to even be in the room. It's like, no, I'm in the room. They let me there. So it's like,
Yeah.
you can be the, I'm not devaluing myself, but it's like, I know
Sure.
there is a way you
Yeah.
can be in the room.
Yeah.
So keep it in mind. It's nice I've held a Grammy. It's kind of, not mine, but it's an amazing, and even when you go into voting, it's such a surreal thing, man. I'm telling you, it's like, you get informed, first of all, this is what the process is, and the songs are put into the categories, and all of that stuff happens, and and anyone, and that's the other thing I want to demystify. Anyone can get their song into Grammy contention, right? It's not based on sales. It's not based on streams or how many tickets you sold or how many music sold or brand, nothing. How many followers you have, nothing.
Interesting.
A person with 5 YouTube, Spotify streams has the same chance as, Sabrina Carpenter.
Fascinating.
In theory.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Most
Yeah.
voting members are going to know who Sabrina Carpenter is. That's what you're
Yeah.
fighting against,
Yeah.
right? But in sense, from a technical perspective, you could write a song, Conrad, or you and me could put a song in, or you could write a song with your kid, and it can be submitted into the Grammy. Because you have to be a Grammy member to submit it, or you have to know a Grammy member who could submit it on your behalf. So it's like, but that's how it works, right? And it's a very kind of surreal thing, and you go there, voting time, and you go, you have to watch these videos, and it's like, here's what the process is, and here's how you have to do it. It's like an account. You log into your account, like Gmail, and it's like, here's the categories, but watch these videos first. And there's the technical things. And then there's like a video from, the CEO, Harvey Mason Jr. There's like a videos like, take what you're doing very seriously, because what you're doing has the potential to change somebody's life. And that's when you go, the moment you are nominated for a Grammy Award, or you nominate or win or whatever it is, that is now how you are known for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is in your bio. Wherever
Yeah.
you are being introduced, or even after you're alive or dead, you will be introduced as Grammy nominated artist or musician or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
it kind of settles you when you watch that and you go, this is a serious thing I'm doing. I'm not like, I have to take this very, very seriously, right? And I hope I still feel this way in the years to come as a voting member, to take it with integrity, right? Because you're meant to listen to this music and go judge it on the basis of, as a piece of art, do I believe that this is in this category? Or this is in my top 6 compared to everybody else. Nothing to do with who the person is, or if I'm a fan, or all of those things. As a piece of art, do I believe that I should?
When you're listening to the music, do they mask it to hide
No,
bias? So they just say this is Sabrina
Here's
Carpenter.
the name of the artist. Here's this album song. Listen.
Okay.
So that's where. Remember how I said yes? If you could have 5 streams and you could same chance. That's where the discrepancy happens.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because, like, for example, Song of the Year, right? There's something called the Big Six. The Big Six is the 6 awards, the top Grammys that all the voting body can vote for. All 12, 13, 14,000, whatever it is, right? Song of the Year, Album of the Year, Record of the Year, Best New Artist, Producer of the Year, Songwriter of the Year. Those 6 big awards, right? Everyone can vote for. Outside of that, you can only pick 3 categories you want to vote in. And you have to pick categories that you're encouraged to pick categories that you are actually familiar with. Like it'd be no use me going to the jazz category because I have no knowledge of. I'm not no knowledge. I know if it was nice or not, but I really wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to
Yeah.
evaluate it in a proper way
Yeah.
on its musicality
Yeah.
as a jazz piece, right? Or classical. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, so I'll pick, rock, pop, and also sometimes you pick the categories that you may have music in. Because you can vote for yourself. That's fine. It's like perfectly okay, right? So like I was, little old pagan me. Like I actually collaborated with one of the top contemporary Christian music groups in just the previous Grammy cycle. A American group called Forsaken Hero, which I did some vocals on it with them, and so then obviously one of the categories I picked was Christian music category, which has best Christian album, and Christian and gospel, two separate categories. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that. I was like,
Yeah.
what's the difference? It's like Christian music, gospel, is it like the same thing? And then somebody explained to me and said, no, I think gospel music is when you actually quote from the scripture in your lyric.
Yeah.
Right? Things like that. So I was like, oh, wow. So for example, I voted, normally I may not have picked that category to vote in, but I did because I had a song in there. I was like, yes, a vote. But, so it kind of, then you go back again and then they announce the Grammys, then they announce the nominees and everyone gets excited. And, after voting happens, they announce it and they have a big thing at the Grammy Museum and John Legend comes and reads out some things and. So they announce the nominees, right, in October. And then you see everybody changing their bio the next morning. 2x Grammy nominated. And it is fun because you know all these people now. And some of them, you voted for them in those categories, you know?
Yeah.
And it's all audited by Deloitte. It's like the Recording Academy has actually not involvement in the process. It's all done by Deloitte. So the integrity is there. You can't break the Grammys, to my knowledge, right? You can't. And then in December, you go back again. And this time when you go back into those categories, there's just 6 people. And you have to go, I think that person should be there. It's a crazy kind of thing to do. You have no idea until you actually have kind of looking at that screen and you go, oh my God, it's like, Song of the Year. It's like you try not to let it affect.
Yeah, I would imagine there's from 2 aspects, right? A like and a dislike even, right? I'm not going to vote for this person because I don't like with a prejudgment, or I already like this person beyond the music even, right? That people have to fight both and be as objective as possible, right?
And you do and you don't. See, I have to kind of say, because first of all, how do you get people to vote for you, right? Because let me give you an indication. In the category I was in, the contemporary Christian category, as well as I had 2 entries. I had my own album in the global music new age category. I had a whole new age album. So this is how funny it is, right? I'm the rock guy, as you know.
Yeah.
Right? Rock, pop, rock, hard rock. The 2 projects I had in Grammy contention, one was a new age album of Hindu chants, and the other was a contemporary Christian song, which my family just couldn't fathom what was going on, right? So, but yes, what I mean, so in the global music category that I was in the album category, there were 190 albums.
Oof.
That people had to pick 6 from, right?
Yeah.
In the song of the year and the album of the year, like song of the year, there were 2,000 entries.
Oof.
Right? And there's no special rows. It's all just randomly put together. There's no alphabetical order.
Yeah.
It's like, Conrad, your song and your daughter's song and like my song and Dua Lipa and Chaperone and then, Richard's song and Christie's song. It's like there's no silver. It's all the same.
Yeah.
So it's like the great, in that sense, it's like the great equalizer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That's how it works. But that's what I mean, right? So, okay, look at the global music category. There's 200 or 180 or 200 people in there. So you have to campaign like a politician. So there's the period of campaigning where you have to then connect with all these voting members on Instagram and Facebook and the groups. And there's Facebook groups.
So it's public knowledge, like the artists.
It's public knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to then, there's dedicated Facebook groups and WhatsApp group of this and, and the moment you have the Grammy Recording Academy voter in your bio, people hunt you. I wake up every morning, there'd be like 30 new connections and DMs from people. So you can pitch your music and you can go if you're a voting member, I can go, hi Conrad, Bobby, nice to meet you if I haven't met you before. I'm a voting member. It's a real pleasure. I just want to let you know that in this Grammy ballot, I've got this project that's in this category, and this is what the project was about, and, blah, blah, blah. And I really hope that you would consider it if you are voting in this category. And that's all you can say.
Yeah. Okay.
right? And then
Yeah.
so and there's broadcast emails and there's companies that will have databases. You have to hire them. It
Yeah.
costs a lot, takes a lot of time. It
Yeah.
costs a lot of money. This, like, put an ad in Billboard magazine. Billboard magazine has a Grammy nomination issue, so you put an ad there for your album and project. It's like $10,000, like for one. It's like a whole thing, and you have to go on and on. This is horrendous.
Yeah.
I did it for 2 years and it just drains you. You are like daily there. Because then also not only are you talking about it, you are also now DMing people and going, what's the least intrusive way? Like the least spammy kind of way I
Yeah.
can do this
Yeah.
to create at least the facade of a genuine connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the answer is you can't.
Yeah.
You actually have to approach it with the intention of, I want to genuinely connect to this other person, see what value I can offer them, because mostly they may also have music in. Request that they could send me something if they've got music in the ballot. I will also send you music and create those genuine kind of friendships, that hopefully they're going to remember you and look for you if they're voting in your category. So the odds
Yeah.
are just,
Yeah.
and you have to keep doing this. And like so that's where there are certain strategies, there are certain things that are proven, there are certain things, and people come up with new things all the time. There are lots of things that are no. Like I remember the first year, there was someone who created a WhatsApp group, and I wasn't in this group, but someone was telling me about it, and it was like about 60 or 70 people had just like joined this group, and they were like, what are you in? Like, I'll vote for you, you vote for me. We're all in different categories, and they were having these conversations. Here's the thing, and who else do you know? Let's kind of get them on board. Let's kind of have create these spreadsheets to see how many votes they can get. Because you can imagine, you could miss out on a nomination or win by one vote of 14,000 people voting.
Yeah. That's
Right?
wild.
Simple
Yeah.
as that. So it's
Yeah.
like, and then somebody went into that group that was also invited in and took screenshots of everything and sent it to the Recording Academy. And everybody was like pulled up. People got warnings. People had their membership removed
Revoked.
for life.
Yeah.
And that's a
Yeah.
horrible thing. Like if you're
Yeah. That's the integrity,
working member
right?
of the music industry. So
Yeah.
there's like, you can't have listening. You can have like a listening party and invite a whole bunch of people to your party or do it virtually or whatever, but you can't give away booze.
Okay.
You can sell booze and
Okay.
you can give away snacks. It's
Yeah.
so there's all these like
Yeah.
things you have to really kind of be careful about and really understand what you can do, what you can't do. You can't when you reach out to people, you can't tell them how many streams the song has had.
Huh.
Oh, my song has had, 1 million streams on Spotify. Do check it out. Because now you're influencing the decision. Because now it's
Yeah.
like that whole thing of, if it's had
Yeah.
1 million streams, it should be good, right?
Yeah. Even if it's not true, even if it's close enough,
Even
that
if it's
number's
not
in your
true, or
mind,
even
right?
if you've paid for the views, listens, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't say that. You can't do that. You can't talk about awards the song has won or none of that. People kind of skirt the gray.
Yeah. Sure.
I've seen examples where you go, ooh, that was actually, I don't know if you're allowed to say that. If I was that way inclined, I could report you to, the Recording Academy. Like if that was one of my competitors, I could have gone, I can see a way for you to not be a competitor anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to be very careful. They try and keep a lot of integrity in the process to keep that specialness.
Yeah.
Of the Grammy. Otherwise, if it's that easy to get and you can engineer it, why
Yeah.
would you want it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Even when
Yeah.
you get it, it has to feel like you've received something really special. Even if you know the strategy and you know the process and you spent the money, I can tell you for a fact, it does not matter when you are standing there on that stage or when you're in that room or when you hear that you're a nominee, right? It still feels very, very, very special. Like I've seen people go into shock, like a row away from me when they hear their name being called.
Yeah.
And
I'm not
even
sure if you heard, I know the Oscars are brutal.
the Oscars
Like-
is actually kind of like a comedy, and most people may not even watch the movie. It's like, oh, Will Smith's in the movie.
Yeah. Not
I'm
only
gonna get
that, they have like agencies. I think it was in the news here a while back. They have agencies, and then it's almost like political, right? They go dig up dirt on an actor from another movie and suddenly release that dirt, and they try to influence like, oh, this person.
100%. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it's
sure that happens
insane.
I'm sure that happens even in the music industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
haven't
insane.
encountered it. Like I haven't been seeing it actively happen as a strategy. I'm sure I've seen something come up and I think, oh, that's a coincidence. Why
Yeah.
why is this
Yeah.
suddenly in the news? But I haven't paid that much attention to that process. But I'm sure it
Yeah.
happens. And
Yeah.
now they're insisting. I'm like, there was a big post. The Academy is insisting that its voting members actually watch the movies. It's like they haven't been watching it till now.
Yeah.
Like all these years.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Why are you telling them like now?
Yeah.
Please
Exactly.
watch the movie that you have. Like I would have assumed that that is
Yeah.
a fundamental
Exactly.
requirement of
Yeah.
being able to vote for. So, like,
Yeah.
but it's crazy, man. I think the Emmys are the same. It's like committee based. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's. But the Grammys, are, to my knowledge, are the only peer awarded
Yeah. It's
award.
a
It's
little more spread out to game the system.
yeah,
You can
and
game
it's all,
maybe 100 people, but 14,000
and it's
people.
but sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Sometimes
true.
that's all you need, right? And I've seen people like I've received marketing communications from people who are promoting their project, and I go, wow, that is actually good. The way they did it, it made me open the email. It made me read all the way to the end. And I go and I save all those things. Like, let me see this email because it's like this was really well done. Like it caught my attention. It kind of and I'll like keep a spreadsheet of like I listen to the music beforehand and I go that was nice. I actually like that. Let me make a note of that. And that's what most of the people do. Like a spreadsheet. Okay, this category. Here's the
Yeah.
person. Here's the
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
So when you're going to vote, it's like, okay, let me, where's those 6 people? I tried not to do that. I tried to, but listen, again, it's like song of the year. Even if you listen to like 10 seconds of
Yeah.
each song, 2,000 songs?
Yeah.
Come on. So
Yeah.
at some point, you're going to go either with the names that you know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. For sure.
Like you're going to search for people and go, these guys were good. I love their song. I haven't found 5 so far that are like, I'm going to go choose them, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of happens, but
Yeah.
for the most part, you want to keep that, every song that's here is a part of someone's soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've taken the
Yeah.
pain to do this. Like, but again, the reality of it is insane. Like how much
Yeah.
music. I remember the first time it took me like 2 days, 2 6-hour days. Because I was like, I will do this the proper way. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
first year as a voting member.
Yeah.
I
For
will
sure.
do this
Yeah.
with the full amount of.
You probably did too much, even more than what was expected,
Probably.
right? Yeah.
I did it that way the second time as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So I think, but again, it's like the campaigning and see, then again, when you go to the Grammys and you meet people and you form relationships there and you follow each other on Instagram and all of that stuff happens and you're at the after party and you're at the after party and then the Grammy brunch the next day. It's like, there's a lot of these events that happen. The Grammy Awards itself isn't the best place to network. Because you're just sitting in your chair and you can't walk around and like shake hands with people. You might meet people in the foyer and you know what I mean? And it's nice and you take selfies and stuff happens, right? And it's very surreal because you're standing there on the stage and 100 feet away from me there's a guy going, and the Grammy goes too. And I'm like, holy shit, I love this. I'm amazing. But it is, very tiring. I was in LA, like you're in LA for like, most people are there for like 6-7 days with the Grammys in between. So the few days
Yeah.
before, few days
Yeah.
after, all these events that are happening every day. Because
Yeah.
as far as the industry is concerned,
It's like
It's like-
Jipma on steroids.
it is, man. Because see, also imagine Jipma on steroids, but
Yeah.
now you have 50
Yeah.
companies who
Yeah.
know that the creme of the creme of
Yeah.
the industry is now all in LA at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? So
Yeah.
people from all over the US or Canada, the Americas in general, not all, a stadium's worth
Exactly. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
people are
The
traveling
who's
from
who, right? Yeah.
not necessarily even the who's who. I don't count myself as the who's who. I just want to be in the room. But I'm like of professionals who have influence in the industry are now from various countries and various parts of the Americas are now in this one city for this period of time. So like, so music industry companies like Fender and this, they all want to have like events,
Yeah.
right? JBL, this, Sony, and then other companies and other people want to have events. So the Grammy after party is held every year by a guy called Kit Wakely, who's multi-Grammy winner. We've kind of become friends but I became friends because he has the after party. So you have the Grammy Awards, you have the after party, official after party at the Grammy Museum, and then you have the after party. I know what these people are on, but like I can't party like that. I'm like 1:00 in the morning, I'm like, I want to go back to my hotel and like, I want to get my pajamas, have a warm beverage. But everyone's like, you can't, you're in LA, this is one. And you get caught up in that whole I can't go back to the hotel. This is the fucking
Yeah.
Grammy Awards. It's like,
Yeah.
I have to be here. It's like, what's wrong with me? I've wanted this all my life. Now, how can I say I'm going to leave at 1? And you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that
Exactly.
pressure in your head as well to like, but it's crazy. So then by day 4 or 5, you're like, I was like, both Sriram and myself were like, our throat is starting to feel itchy, you're feverish, you're not sleeping. You're sleeping like 4 hours, because people are there, get up till 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Okay, cool. I'll see you, man. Oh, we're going to stay till about 5. I will see you at brunch at 11. And like, what's wrong with you people? You insane? What are you guys on? Like, man, it is so cutthroat
Sure.
in
Yeah.
that city. Like, I'm not even telling you. The awards so the Reign of Bhakti, the album that Sriram Nasrallah did, we won 2 World Entertainment Awards, right? For Best Global Album, 2 awards. But going to this award ceremony in this Uber Black, right? We're nominated for the World Entertainment Award. Sriram myself, the Uber driver who took us there has won an Emmy.
Really?
Documentary filmmaker from we're like, do you want to come in the back and we'll drive you? Like, we'll drive. But like, he was like, yeah, I won an Emmy. And we looked him up and we're like, holy shit.
Huh.
He's driving. But he was like, yeah, I'm just, there's some bit of downtime between now and my next project. I'm just doing this to kind of get some funding so I can start my next project and then get the funding required to finish it.
Yeah.
So we're like, wow, that's just insane. Like,
yeah,
but that's how LA is. LA is just like this insane melting pot of,
like
all these
for
people.
artists.
Everyone's kind of trying to get to the top of the mountain, right? Everyone's like, whichever way they can. If I can get a helicopter to the top of the mountain, so be it. But otherwise, I'm just going to sit there.
It means something, right? It's the brand. So when I'll have a couple of more questions for Bobby. So when you work with the kids in Bangalore or Melbourne, right? Are you seeing? I know there's a big discussion on online. Some people are for AI and songwriting and Suno and all of that, But there's some purity, right? People that want that purity. Are you seeing that? Is that what's the role? Are you seeing that in any circle come up, or people rejecting it as a whole in your circles?
Sure, of course. The role of AI in modern art, right? Not just music, but art in general. Of course, it's a thing that is on you. You can't run away, right? So I tell people a lot of things. I said, look, there's 2 things about AI. Like, there's 2 things you got to think about when considering the use of AI. First of all, what part of the creative process do you want to personally feel that you have accomplished yourself, right? I will never use AI programs to write lyrics or any of that because I like doing that. I know I can do it and I want to have the joy and pride of that. Now, will I use ChatGPT to give me themes or ideas for things or kind of analogies and, things? Yeah, sure. 100%, right? But people have been using rhyming dictionaries since the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the word, here's 30 words that rhyme with this.
Yeah.
I don't see the difference, right? Cool. Ideas. And then nothing else. Everything else is like, no, I have plugins that use AI to kind of equalize. Yeah, that's, it's going to do it quicker than I would. I can still know how to do it.
Yeah.
But all of those things are okay. Now, using things like Suno, which is like, you put a prompt in and here's the song, right? Now, there's 2 things to think about that from a use case perspective. One is the fact that Suno exists. The intelligence in Suno exists because it has internalized music from the last 100 years without the consent of the creators, right? That's the first aspect that is you take into consideration when you are considering maybe using something like this. Even for demos, right? People say, oh, it's okay for demos and ideas. And like, okay, well, that's a personal choice. But you listen to what I have to say first, and then you decide whether you still feel good about it, right? It's like, okay, that side of things. The second part of it is the ongoing rights management. How do you know when you are creating something where it is taking its stuff from? Like the components that it's then using to create this track, right? Because you have to experiment. Like, I would say everyone has to, like, I've experimented with it to understand what it is. Because I can't debate it and do anything unless I actually know what it is, right? So, okay, sign up to an account. Let's see what this is, what we do. And, we should hear the version of Stay It Made, but that's another topic. But I was like, okay, so you got to take that into consideration, right? And then there's the ethical aspect of that. Like I said, the intelligence that exists around the system. You have to set the boundaries. Now, it's going to be there whether you like it or not. There are more people who are going to use it to validate its existence. It's not going to go away. So, hey, it means work harder. That means your songs, you have to become a better songwriter. You have to become a better producer, right? You have to, and now there's safeguards in place being put, so you can't take a song from Suno and put it on Spotify and have ownership of it, right? There's all these things. It affects your ownership. What P ownership is compromised. You also can't take a song that's been created by Suno or any present or future program platform that does it. You can't submit it for the Grammys.
Yeah.
Right? You can't.
Yeah.
So people say, okay, if you're going to use like fun things, I'm making a fun happy birthday song for my wife. That's just for me to play at home.
Yeah.
I don't see the harm. This is probably going to be people going to give me the shits for them. I don't see the harm in using Suno for that kind of thing. So come on. Like you were not going to make music to release anyway. Like, if someone wants to create a song for their dad and go, someone who's not like a full-blown artist. And even if you were a full-blown artist, it doesn't matter. Like you just want to do something for the next day is someone's birthday.
Yeah.
It's not for commercial intent. It's not for
It's not an artistic expression or
No, it's just a fun
Yeah.
thing you want to have as a party, as a good memory thing for your dad to have as
Yeah.
a cool little thing that you did.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's like, you know what? That's okay. Again, probably controversial. I'm gonna get, shits for it. But now if you're actually an artist and that is your career and your profession, then I would say you have to put your own guardrails around how much AI you are going to use in your creative process, and then just be damn good. Like AI, I tell people, listen, and this applies to any industry, accounting, this, that, engineering. AI isn't going to take away your job. The person using AI will, right? And people go, and I laugh the hypocrisy of being I laugh. Like I tell people like, oh, Suno, this, like so bad. How can you use that? I said, do you use ChatGPT? Yeah, but only for my social media posts. I'd like to create the copy. I was like, all the authors, people who wrote and released books for the last 100 years, your Shakespeare, your that. What do you think fed ChatGPT the intelligence to give you your copy for your social media post, right? It's not just taking the dictionary and doing word salad. Even if you use ChatGPT to create the copy for your social media post or clean up an email or whatever, it is still leveraging of literary works without the consent of the author. So you can't, you can't like go, AI is bad, but I'm going to use like ChatGPT or I'm going to use generative AI to get my images for my social media post. No, it's leveraging of the intelligence of hundreds of artists and painters and, it's now internalized that information. So, I always tell people that thing, it makes people go, oh shit, really? Yeah, I didn't see it that way. Now, whether they still affects their usage or not, I don't know. But it's funny how people kind of compartmentalize the justification. Like if you're against artificial intelligence or generative AI that leverages off unconsent out of artwork, it has to be across the board. Yeah. Otherwise, shut up. It's like you can't use ChatGPT for your social media posts and then judge someone who's using ChatGPT or Suno to write lyrics.
Yeah, it's almost like if I worked really hard, wrote my own songs, recorded it, but I used ChatGPT to create an album art. It's kind of like,
yeah, that's right. It's like, but I couldn't do it anyway myself. That is the thing. I'm not like, I couldn't know how to do that anyway. Yes, but the whole point of it was then you would have to pay an artist or a covered graphic designer to do it for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, so I will use AI to, for coding, for, strategy, for all of this stuff. I have no problem using it. My guardrail is when it comes to the creation of music, I will write my own lyrics. I will, people had the same thing when it came to samplers back in the day. I use this example. It's like in the 40s, there was a movement in New York to ban live musicians from playing in a studio, classical musicians. Like just to go on a show and record music. Oh, you can't. Now that's, they had the justification, right? And then moving on to the late 70s and early 80s, there was a movement to to ban drum machines and samplers because it was taking away, the thing was, if you can play violins or drums on a machine, why are you going to hire a new drummer? So, look, it's one of those things, man. Like, you have to kind of see it for what it is, understand it, and then set your own guardrails around how you think it ethically should be used. And that's as much as I can say to any aspiring...
Dude, as we were talking, I was thinking, like, what's the future? Like, AI music is not going to go away. Suno is probably killing it. There's going to be 100 Sunos in even like 10 years from now, you know? And I was thinking, I wonder if there's going to be, you know, how they have enhanced games, right? Where they let people dope up and play. So it's not frowned upon as long as everybody's doped up, right?
Yeah.
And so the future could be an alternate, maybe not Grammys, but the AI scene creates its own, and they have AI voting on songs. Everything is just, it could be an insane world, that a parallel universe.
Yeah, I don't know. And this
Yeah.
is it, right? We're swimming right now in the unknown. Things are changing so quickly. It's incredible. Like the platforms that we built, our ticketing platform, you know, took us 4 months to build. I mean, understand platforms. It's not like, you know, you put a prompt to Cloud and Lovable and go, give me a ticketing platform. And that's not how it works. You have to understand platform architecture. You have to understand how these things work together. And then you can get assisted code building, which is how we built our platform in 5 months. Otherwise, that's a 2-year project. And, $500,000 later. Right. So it's interesting, right? That we're kind of, and for people like us, you and me, we're the generation of the rotary phone. You know what I mean? We're like the last generation, hybrid generation.
Yeah.
That had no tech
pre-internet.
at all.
Yeah.
And are now also getting to experience this kind of tech, right?
Yeah.
So everyone else is kind of born with an iPad or a screen or tech and the mobile. Like when we left home to go out in the afternoon, no one could reach us until we got back home.
That was it. Yeah.
I tell people and they're like, huh? What about, could they call you on the mobile? Like, what mobile? Mobile phones didn't exist at and even landlines in India. Not everyone had a phone at home.
Yeah.
I'd have to call my neighbor from somewhere and the maid would go and tell my mom.
Yeah.
And even then, it was like, you just said you were going to come home at a certain time and you kind of did.
Yeah.
For the most part. When you left the house, I was 12 years old and I used to take a cycle and go from, Roypuram to Madhapuram at 10 years old. On the, the main road, tank, all of those things, Vadapa, and go to like 7 k's or 8 k's away, 12 years old to my cousin's house in Madhapuram. Sometimes I'd get stuck there and my auntie would be, just stay the night.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to go across the house to the neighbor's house who had a phone and call my mom and say, Bobby's in Madhapuram. He's where? What's he there? Like, you locked up on the cycle.
Yeah. And now your wife can track you like by the inch as you're where you are.
100%. Like, she loves it. I can track my luggage around the world and, know.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting time. But I think, we're for what I do, for what the business does, where we are, where I am now, can't complain, man. Shit. This is a great place to be.
Yeah.
I'm completely excited about where I am and, what's to come. And, it's amazing. That's as much as I can say, right? It's like...
Yeah. Awesome, Bobby. Thanks for chatting, dude. Thanks for catching up. Wishing you the best, man. And everything you do.